Hi to everyone out there and welcome to my channel. Today we have the second day in our 31 days of tarot journey, and our prompt for today was the top 5 or is the top 5 tarot decks of 2019. So I had to really think about this because I have a lot of decks and I love a lot of decks. Well, not as much as some out there because I'm still in at the beginning phase, but there are some in my collection and I love all of these. And then I thought, well, which one did you use a lot in this year? And it was really fascinating because I couldn't think of a deck that I really used very often. So either I didn't use tarot as the tarot decks as much as I thought I did, and used more often Oracle and Lenormand, or I had a really good change of my tarot decks and which one I used in 2019. And then I thought, well, I love all of them, and I didn't use one of them or either five of them more often than the others. So, which one did I had a really um, memorable experience or a special experience? So with those thoughts, I came to the five decks, and you can see one of them on this side here. Well, the first one I want to talk about, and those are all very well known and loved decks out there. So there's not many or not at all decks in this top 5 list of mine that are unknown or not a lot shown yet. So the first one is the Marry El Toro. I think you all know this deck. The Marry El Toro. It is a very, very unique and special tarot deck. So this isn't a deck that you, at least for me, it isn't a deck that I will use all the time or for every question, or if I want a quick and precise answer of a question that asks about an everyday aspect, because it is its own unique system, and the artwork is so, it gets you so deep into your intuition, into yourself, into all that messages, and into all those cards, that this isn't a deck that I will use a lot. But when I use this deck for special reasons, it is an absolute memorable experience. And because I chose this deck is because it is such a unique system, such unique artwork, and it has this energy that dives that lets you dive in very deep, and you get very unique messages of it, and in a form and in a depth that I haven't experienced with any other deck. And I used this for a past life reading that I did for myself because I had a feeling that this deck would be perfect for a past life reading. And I used, I think there is the past life spread in the guidebook for this deck, and I used that spread with those cards, and it was an absolute extreme experience. Really extreme, really deep, really unique, and I will forever remember this reading. And I didn't use this deck a lot in this year, maybe 2 or 3 times, maybe a little bit more than that, because it was a year of time. But when I use it, there are readings like my past life reading that I did that are so intense. So because of those experiences that I have with this deck, this is in my top 5 list. Because where you could also do past life readings with other decks, and other decks are deep as well if you let them. Um, I don't think that I would have had this deep experience with any other deck. And it was, I will never forget this reading. It was really extreme, really intense, really deep. And it wasn't, well, this is the tarot card, these are the tarot cards, this is the meaning, and let me look at the image. Well, a little bit of intuition. This was a lot of intuition, and there were messages coming through that after I photographed the reading and documented it, I thought, how on earth did you get this message from this card in this position? But it felt so right, and it was so perfectly fitting. It's just a miracle to me how this deck works for me. So this is one of my 5 decks of 5 tarot decks of 2019. The next one, which you could see at this side of the screen, is the Prisma Visions. The Prisma Visions deck. When I first saw these cards in walkthroughs, and this is even a year or 2 ago, I thought, wow. I love the colors used, the coloration, the art style of this deck. I love the idea that all the minors are one huge picture and tell you a story. And I immediately fa- fall in love with this deck when I first saw it. And then I found out that this isn't a mass market or produced deck, so I couldn't get it on Amazon, and that I had to pay a lot of shipping, and I wasn't sure how this would work with all the taxes and import things, and I was heartbroken that I couldn't get it. And in a specific moment, because there were so many independent published decks out there that I really loved, and I was so heartbroken that I couldn't get them. Um, and then I got a crazy moment where I was like, well, I don't give a shit about the shipping and about the import taxes. I couldn't get all the decks because I'm not a millionaire. But those that spoke to me and those that had already a place in my heart, I bought. And I'm so happy that I had this crazy moment. Because this deck is absolutely stunning. I love this artwork. I love the quality of the production. I love the idea behind the miners. It tells a story. I love some unique images for the majors as well. Judgment in there is an image that you don't see as often for Judgment. And this is also the deck that I laid out my year ahead spread for me this year. And and that tells you that this has to be in my top 5 tarot decks of 2019 list, because I really choose the special deck for me that I feel really drawn to at that year, or in that year at that moment, that I really want to work with for my year ahead. And not every deck um, gets chosen for this year ahead spread. And this year it was this deck, so it can feel honored for that place. So this had to be in my top 5. Because that decision that I chose this deck for my year ahead spread, and I love this so much, red artwork and such, is showed me how much this deck means to me and how much I resonate with this deck. So that was the Prisma Visions. 3 more to go. Next is the Shadowscapes Tarot. Also a well-known deck, and a deck that is not a brand new deck. It is a while out there, but this deck, the artwork of Stephanie Pui-Mun is just gorgeous. It is awesome. It is stunning. I love the artwork so much. There is a lot going on in these images and a lot of detail, but even it is so detailed, and you really see every time you pull a card, you see another detail that you didn't recognize before. Or a detail jumps out to you that you think is now the most important on this card. It is also clean and recognizable which cards you are looking at. And I love detailed artwork and detailed decks because of those reasons, that there's always a little detail that you didn't recognize before, and that it jumps out to you and that shifts the meaning of the card a little bit. But most often, very detailed images can be also very confusing, because you have so much to look at that you maybe even didn't recognize the card you're looking at. And this deck is very detailed, but it's also very recognizable for the card meanings and which card you're looking at and which energy you're looking at. And I love this art style. I love the use of color. I love the details. I love how she depicts the human beings, the animals, her backgrounds, her trees. And this deck has also my favorite Queen of Cups, my favorite Queen of Wands. There are some images in here that add a new layer to the card. Like this for the Eight of Pentacles, to use a spider and a spider web. It's awesome. It shifts the perspective a little bit from the traditional meaning of the Eight of Pentacles, but it also works really good with the traditional meaning. And even if I'm afraid of spiders, I love this image. And normally when I see a spider and a spider web, even if it's a painted spider web and spider or photograph, I can't stand looking at it because I will freak out. But that's it for the artwork here. This artwork is so gorgeous that I can even look at a spider and a spider web and find it beautiful, and don't panic when I look at it. So Also, the queens in this deck. My favorite Queen of Cups, my favorite Queen of Wands. This Queen of Pentacles is also amazing, as well as the King of Pentacles, which are those human fey energies, but they're in a tree or they're part of a tree. And what's perfect, what's more perfect than Queen and King of Pentacles with half a tree and half a human? So this deck, this artwork is just stunning. Stephanie Pui-Mun is an amazing artist. I love her artwork and I follow her on Instagram. Not only this artwork in this deck, but also her other artwork her other art that she does. It's absolutely amazing. I'm absolutely fangirling about her. So this had to go in my top 5 pile as well. 2 more to go. The next one is the Bad Bitches Tarot. And this is not only in my top 5 deck or not in my top 5 deck because the challenge of 31 Days of Tarot is by Ethony and this deck is as well. But because I really love this deck. I love the rose gold. It is something unique, something special, and it fits perfectly with this deck and with the energy of this deck. And I love the modern take on it and also the simplicity on this. The cards are so clear in their messages, in their way that they are depicted, but you also have those Rider-Waite-Smith symbols or generally symbols on there. So we go from a very detailed deck with the Shadowscapes tarot to a very clean deck with the Bad Bitches tarot, which has also symbols in it. Even if there is not very much on the card, it has its symbols in it that you can interpret and you can discover. And it is also color coded, which I love as well. So the wand suit is this red tone, pentacles green, the majors are those golden yellow tones, swords are more of a violet gray kind of color, and cups are more of a greenish blue kind of color. And you get really much out of these cards, even if they're so simple, because you can look at those symbols um, on the figures. Well, let me pick an example here. You can really see it. It's an all feminine deck, so even the knights and the kings and the emperor are feminine. And normally I don't like that as much because especially for I don't mind when it's more feminine than masculine, but especially for the kings and the emperor, I expect in my head that there is a male, and when there is a female, my brain is like, that doesn't make any sense. Even if we're talking energies here and not genders. But in this deck, I don't mind it as much. So you have the symbol of the typical Rider-Waite-Smith symbol on her dress here for the Three of Swords. You also can really get an interpretation or get a message and interpret of the postures and the poses and how the figures are standing there, how their facial expression is. So you not only have the Rider-Waite-Smith symbols, but you can also get something out of the position and the facial expression. So here we have the Six of Swords, and we have the little ships on her dress, which is a nod to the Rider-Waite-Smith. So you have all that you can work with, the hidden symbols on the fashion, the postures and the positions of the figures, the facial expressions, um, but all that in a very clear and clean imagery where it is really recognizable, and you really get what you're looking at in a very short time because of the color coding, because of the clear imagery. And also on this deck, I love the guidebook. I love Ethony's writing. Her sometimes sassy, I think it's the right word, and direct, even a little bit of blunt messages in there. And it's very motivating, and gets you out of your, gets you to do something and really work on it. And it also makes me smile sometimes when I read those words that she chose. And I also love that she did a general message or interpretation for the card, but also then goes even further with the message for love and relationship, for work and finances. Um, and there's another thing: work and finances, love and relationship, and, well, let me look. Oh, when it's blocked or when it's reversed. So you have really, I mean, it's a page for each of the cards, but you get all you need for every question and for every major topic in our lives. You get an interpretation, and I love her writing style. So this is the Bad Bitches Tarot. And I love this deck. This is also a go-to deck when I want a really clear, precise answer without sitting there interpreting and thinking about the spread or about the message that comes through, because I found out that this deck is really direct and really clear, and you get the messages really fast. So this is my go-to deck whenever I have a question and I just want an answer very quickly. So the last deck, well, we're already 23 minutes in. The last deck I want to talk about on my top 5 tarot list of 2019 is the Naked Heart Tarot. This deck, it is an interesting story with this deck. When I decided which decks I want to purchase of the independent market, this deck, I most often was very clear about, yes, I definitely want this, and no, I think I want this deck. This deck, however, was on and off and on and off and on and off. I don't know how many times I had it on my wish list, and then I decided to not purchase it and removed it off my wish list. And then I thought, well, there's something about this deck. I think I want it. And then I put it back on my wish list. And then, well, no, there's other decks that are more, and I don't know if I can resonate with this or connect with this deck. Because normally I love animals, I love animal artwork, and I love animal oracles. But in a tarot, I kind of I am tempted when there are animals in every tarot. And there are a lot of gorgeous animal tarot decks out there. To use this or to want to use this more as an oracle and read the energy of the animal and not the tarot meaning. And then it disturbs me because it is a tarot deck and you have the tarot titles on it, but you have the animal energy. That's why I have not really any animal tarot decks. Even if I find the most of them gorgeous, except of this one here. And the thing about this is that you don't have just the animal and its energy, but you have cards like this where it's no animal at all and it's more pip-like, but also with an image on there as well. Or even if there is animals, there is some other things you can yeah, there's a specific scene that represents the energy of the tarot card more than the energy of the specific animal. And also, there's something about this artwork. It really surprised me because I was on and off with this deck. I put it on my wish list and then put it off my wish list for a lot of times. And even when I decided I was going to buy it, because there was something about this deck that that didn't allow me to let go of it completely. Um, I wasn't sure if I can connect with it or if I would like it even. And then, so it was in my collection and I often used other decks and didn't use this deck for a long time. And then I decided to give it a chance and I did a reading for me with it and it was very clear, very direct. Even blunt in some ways. And it surprised me. And since then, I use this deck a lot for readings on YouTube, for readings for myself, because I found that this deck has a special energy and a special way um, to give you the message you need to hear. I love this Four of Pentacles. I love squirrels. And I think this is a very good depiction of the Four of Pentacles. Because is it miserly for a squirrel to hoard the resources that it will need to survive the winter? I don't think so. And I love this Three of Pentacles with the aunts here, which are working together to create their own successful mini town. Yeah, it is very direct. It is very clear. It doesn't shy away to give you the messages that you need to hear, even if they're hurtful sometimes. And yeah, the naked heart. It is very clear. There's not a lot of layers on it for me. And you really get to the core of the message, to the core of the answer that you need, to the core of the situation. And that's a very special energy with this deck. And this deck really changed from a deck that I wasn't sure I would even like and didn't use to a deck I use a lot, and that really surprised me and has a special place in my heart now because of its unique way to give you the messages very clearly, very directly, and yeah, it gets you to the core of things. So this is the fifth deck on this list, and we are 29 minutes in. Wow. I intended these videos to be short videos, but I think I will give up on this intent because I can't make these short videos. I talk too much. Okay, I hope you enjoyed it. I would love to hear from you down in the comments what your top 5 decks are. I will watch 31 days of tarot challenges, but if you don't want to make a video or if you haven't a YouTube channel, comment your top 5 decks. I also love to hear what you guys think about my top 5 decks and what your experiences with those are, even if they're different. I find it very interesting that decks have a different vibe and different energy to different people. And I love to hear those. So feel free to comment. Um, Thank you for watching. Click subscribe to my channel. I will have a lot more videos coming of deck walkthroughs, of crystal portraits, which I already have in a playlist. Those videos are up, or those 3 videos are up on my German YouTube channel, because they're from a time and I thought I could do all my English speaking and German speaking videos on one channel, but I found out that it doesn't, or that it didn't work. So I have the beginning videos in that playlist so you can see what I mean by crystal portrait. And I will do the newer ones upload on this channel. So subscribe that you don't, that you can see those and don't miss those. And for all crystal lovers out there, I think this will be an interesting series. And well, let's see what else I will talk about in the spiritual world. Um, so thank you for watching, and I hope I will see you in the next video. Until then, bye.